Nancy, Pamela, Diana, Unity, Jessica, Deborah. Everyone knows about these 6 flamboyant Mitford girls, but in fact there were 7 exceptional women in the famous family. The 7th was Muv, the mother of the notorious sisters. Too often portrayed as different from them and outside the girl gang, Lady Redesdale was really the original, and much of her daughter's strong will and self-confidence came from her. Sydney Redesdale was a divisive figure both among her daughters and their subsequent biographers. Until their deaths, her girls squabbled over what she was really like. Their differing views of her persisted even longer than the political divides between them. Each daughter wanted to control the narrative, and they wrote competing novels, memoirs, and letters to vindicate their perspective. For Nancy and Jessica, Sydney was often cast as a sinner. For Unity, Diana, Debo, and Pam, she was more of a saint. Biographers have been equally divided about how Sydney should be portrayed. Many wondered how such extraordinary children could spring from such ordinary parents. But was Sydney really so ordinary? One thing all her daughters agreed on was that their mother was so very unusual. Muv's granddaughter-in-law, Charlotte Moseley, who has edited the sisters' letters, comments, "Everything I've seen about her and everything I've heard, which was mainly from Diana and Debo, made me think that she was actually very remarkable." She considers Sydney a heroine, explaining, "I think she had a difficult husband to deal with. Money was always never sufficient, and she had some very high-spirited children. She went through tragedy after tragedy during the war and came through it still standing." Mary S. Lovell, author of The Mitford Girls, agrees that Muv was the heroine of the whole story because of her selfless support of her family. However, Unity's biographer, David Price Jones, saw her very differently. He portrayed Lady Redesdale critically, focusing more on her political beliefs and support for Hitler. This book explores what Muv was really like, disentangling the real woman from the figure of fun her novelist daughter Nancy turned her into. Sydney was certainly a far cry from the vague, one-dimensional figure of Aunt Sadie portrayed by Nancy in her novels The Pursuit of Love and Love in a Cold Climate. While the fictional character is a forgettable, flimsy figure compared to her husband, the inimitable Uncle Matthew, the real woman was more interesting than their father, or Fav. Sydney Redesdale was as eccentric, opinionated, and ultimately misguided as her more extreme daughters.